Even though Love and Hip Hop are no longer being filmed, the drama is still going strong. The bombshell online revelation of a Cameron leak shocked the hip-hop community last night. Chrissy is crying. Jim Jones is leaving. And fans are yelling that this could be the last straw for one of the most notorious leaks ever. Couples in the history of reality TV. Not only was the video that went viral messy, but it was also radioactive. Jim's longtime fiancée Chrissy was the subject of cryptic bombs dropped by Cameron Dipset during a late-night live webcast. Then it took place. Screenshots, invoices, and purported DMs, pictures that weren't meant to be seen. Hashtags like #JimWalksOut and #Chrissy weeping went viral in a matter of minutes. In a single clip, the audience gasped as Cameron said, "I told him years ago, you can't wipe her up when she's still moving grimy." The downfall of the internet and its consequences. According to immediate insiders, Chrissy was caught off guard and sobbed in front of her loved ones after discovering the leak. Jim reportedly slammed the door behind him as he left their house, ashamed and angry, even while cell phones recorded the aftermath and immediately shared it on social media. What began as yet another tumultuous hip-hop feud has descended into a tragic love triangle. Scandal, betrayal, and a complete public breakdown. And believe me when I say that the receipts only get worse from here. There was turmoil when the internet woke up. What started out as merely another late-night tirade from Cameron swiftly descended into one of the most significant betrayals in hip-hop and love history. Cam had gone live while drinking from a red cup and making vague, disparaging remarks about Jim Jones when his tone abruptly changed. He leaned in, grinned at the camera, and spoke the words that would ignite the culture. "Do you still think that fairy exists? Story romanticism. I have evidence that Queen isn't really that devoted." Fans quickly bombarded the live with comments. Was Chrissy in question? The woman who had supported Jim for almost 20 years. The woman who famously proposed by getting down on one knee while Jim refused. There was a lot of tension before Cam let it drop. Screenshots with timestamps that overlapped with significant points from the couple's reality TV plot. The pictures displayed a series of purported demis between Chrissy and another man. "He doesn't even come home." One person said, "I'm sick of feeling alone some nights." Another said, "If he's not going to marry me, maybe someone else will." The conversation descended into chaos. Thousands of viewers rushed to repost, share, and take screenshots. Minutes thereafter, #Chrissy was leaked. Trended all around the world. Memes went viral. Not only were fans astonished, they were split. Cam stirred the pot, as usual, when some said the screenshots were phony. Others cursed the emoticons and the writing style. It was definitely Chrissy's tone. Additionally, while according to online rumors, the fallout was severe behind the scenes. Insiders said that Chrissy was distraught. "Why would he do this to me? Why now?" She angrily cried as she paced their New Jersey home's living room after seeing the screenshot surface. Hurried to console her. Online, however, the harm was already spreading like wildfire. Jim Jones's response was worse. According to several witnesses, Jim entered the room as Chrissy was sobbing and attempting to explain herself over the phone. He hardly gave her a chance to speak. According to one insider, Chrissy wailed, saying that the comments were misinterpreted and taken out of context, while he slammed his jacket against the couch and yelled, "This is how I appear to the world now, a clown." Jim, however, did not hear it. He slammed the door so forcefully that the glass rattled as he ran out of the house. The neighbors heard, and by sunrise, a shaky video of Jim storming down the street in a hoodie, phone pressed to his ear, was posted on Twitter by someone. Caption: "Jimmy just walked out on Chrissy." The internet went wild once more following the Cameron leak. Fans who had followed their lengthy, tumultuous romance on Love and Hip Hop felt vindicated when they saw memes of Jim departing with captions like, "He ain't walking to the store this time. We anticipated this." You cannot play with someone's emotions for 20 years and expect them to explode. Bloggers grabbed on the story right once, with one comment going viral. But the chaos didn't stop there. The screenshots were uploaded by the Shade Room. Additional leaked audio from Cam's live that suggested more than simply DMZ was purportedly available to Hollywood Unlocked. Cameron is heard in the video stating that she chose loneliness over honesty and he chose celebrity over loyalty. Both of them are currently paying the price. Fans went crazy with just one cue. Cam was defending whom? Did he have additional proof? And why reveal it now? By the middle of the morning, celebrities started to comment. This was tweeted by Funkmaster Flex. "We didn't realize we needed soap opera," the Dip stated. Cardi B went on live, screaming, "Can't petty for this." However, you all know that he isn't lying until he has receipts. Chrissy attempted to salvage what was left when even 50 Cent, the master of trolling, tweeted a meme of Jim with the comment, "Should have married her before Cam married you with the truth." She shared a mysterious Instagram story at midday. Don't trust people love to see you devastated, but fans weren't buying it. Everything you see online. The comment section was brutal. "Sis, you said those things," as one fan put it, broken. "You broke Jimmy's trust first." Jim said nothing. It simply served to increase conjecture. Just hours after the disclosure, fans noticed that he unfollowed Chrissy on Instagram. Fans proclaimed, "This ain't a storyline, this is real," after screenshots of his empty following list went viral on Twitter. The second leak then appeared, late in the evening, an audio recording purportedly taken during a phone conversation between Cam and an unidentified associate started making the rounds. Cam may be heard chuckling in the video. "Years ago, I warned Jimmy, be careful. Some folks love the limelight more than they love you." Now, look, the audio made matters worse. Even if it wasn't confirmed, supporters took it as evidence that Cam had been sitting on this soil for years, just waiting for the ideal opportunity to blow it up. And the timing of this event was ideal for causing the most disruption. At night, there was drama everywhere. Hip-hop podcasts, sports talk shows, gossip blogs, and even morning radio. There was the same narrative everywhere you looked. Cam's shocking receipts, Jim's walkout, and Chrissy's breakdown. Next, Charleston during his live webcast. White entered the fray. Charleston gave one of his famous tirades. Cam simply carried out the Lord's will. "You guys believed that Chrissy was the ride or die. No, she'll ride till I find someone else." Jim is wearing a hoodie and sobbing like a fool. But believe me, this is just the beginning. Cam hasn't yet revealed everything. He received more. Just that statement sparked more rumors. Did Cam possess further receipts? A film? Emails? His Instagram was inundated with fans requesting that he release part 2. Chrissy allegedly refused to leave the residence in the meanwhile. A close friend expressed her devastation to a blogger. Her entire existence seemed to have been torn apart in front of everyone. Jim isn't picking up her phone. This is the end, she fears. It was a recipe for total catastrophe. Jim's quiet. Chrissy's tears. Cam smiles. Charleston is trolling. Awaiting the next surprise, fans were glued to their TVs. Then it did. An unidentified Twitter account hinted at a fresh leak late that evening. A grainy screen grab of what looked to be a conversation between Cam and Chrissy via email, with Chrissy's name in the subject line. The internet erupted one more when the caption said, "If you thought the DIMS were bad, wait until you see the receipts Cam's still holding." Was it authentic? Was it a hoax? No one was certain. However, the cliffhanger was sufficient to ensure one thing. This was far from the end of the narrative. The internet wasn't only humming the following morning. The water was boiling. That unidentified Twitter account had fully leaked the purported email dump. Screenshots of Chrissy and Cameron's email discussion began to circulate, similar to wildfire. Furthermore, their disclosure was even more embarrassing than the DMs. Although brief, the first email was devastating, sent from an account that followers immediately connected to Chrissy's former workplace. It said, "I'm sick of waiting for a man who never fulfills his commitments." Fans said that attached a fuzzy photograph depicted Chrissy and Cam sitting in a bar. "You were right, Jim will never change." Weeks later, this second email was even worse. "I can't continue to live this way. He makes me seem bad on national television. You to live this way. He makes me seem bad on national television. At least you never lied to me, even though we might have been mistaken about one another." Online users lost their collective mind. Was Chrissy acknowledging that she had emotionally depended on Cameron, perhaps even romantically, as she battled Jim? TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter all went into breakdown mode due to the ramifications alone. TikTok and Instagram have gone into crisis mode. Instantly, hashtags became viral. The most heinous of them was when Chrissy cheated, as evidenced by her emails and Cam connection. Timelines were overrun with memes. In the meantime, she was emailing Cam the whole time. According to insiders, Chrissy collapsed when she saw the leak, screamed, threw her phone against the wall, and said, "He's trying." According to a close friend who shared a video of her famous love and hip-hop proposal that went viral, she begged Jim to believe her, but he wasn't in the mood for explanations. And paparazzi took pictures of him pacing outside a Manhattan hotel with a cigarette in hand and his hoodie pulled down. "To ruin me," she said, tears streaming down her face. Cayman stayed oddly calm, posting a mysterious picture of a chessboard on Instagram with the remark, "Don't play checkers when it's chess." He was keeping quiet online until the truth was out, and his silence further fueled the flames. The internet went crazy. Cam, the puppet master, came yet. Charlton White jumped on the latest disclosures with another viral tirade, and the emails followed. Fans took the post as confirmation that he was deliberately dropping bombs on Chrissy and Jim, one at a time, and comments skyrocketed. Chrissy was crying not only in the living room but also in Cam's email. Jim is incredibly faithful, and she is loyal to whoever is listening. This isn't a relationship. In an attempt to find evidence that Chrissy and Cam had a past together, followers began searching for old Dipset interviews and hip-hop videos as the emails spread. "This is a circus." SWS, cut and published across social platforms, poured petrol to an already roaring fire. At midday, Chrissy's name had become associated with betrayal, and others swore they remembered animosity between them on television years earlier. Others said this was all a fabrication, with Cam fabricating receipts to get under Jim's skin. Fans swarmed Jim's comments, seeking clarification. Was he targeting Chrissy, Cam? Jim finally broke his silence, but not with words, posting a black screen on Instagram stories with the solitary statement, "Don't play with my name." The image set off sirens all over the place. In the meantime, Chrissy stayed silent on social media. Her final cryptic post about two sides to every story now swamped with clown emojis and cruel comments. The streets of Harlem were also not quiet, and the ambiguity further fueled suspicion. "We told you that Jimmy had been blind, and that Chrissy was out here emailing the ops while he was establishing an empire." Videos of locals commenting on the controversy appeared, with some supporting Jim and others making fun of Chrissy. One footage of an elderly guy yelling into the camera went viral. Even worse, a second purported tape was leaked. This time, it wasn't from Cam. Instead, a gossip blog published what they said was audio from a phone conversation between Chrissy and an unnamed man, in which a lady who sounded like Chrissy could be heard. "I'm sick of waiting for him to commit," he said. "I keep being embarrassed by him. You give me a sense of belonging." At least the internet crashed. Although fans disputed its veracity, the harm was done, and memes about Jim being the last to know went viral more quickly than wildfire. One cruel tweet said, "Jim was served betrayal papers after evading marriage papers for 20 years. Remy Ma tweeted, "When loyalty ain't mutual, you see it in the leaks." Celebrities continued to weigh in. A dubious tweet that read, "Cam been holding that tea since the MySpace era," was liked by Nicki Minaj. Insiders said Chrissy was at her breaking point, packing her bags and threatening to leave town until Funklex went live on radio, laughing as he played the purported recording over the airways. Friends urged her to stay, saying that leaving would make her appear guilty, but she reportedly felt pursued by the constant leaks. And Jim's inner circle didn't help either. There were rumors that his family, who were already suspicious of Chrissy because years were telling him to break things up for good, they never trusted her. One source muttered. They now believe they were correct all along. In the evening, Cameron went live once more, grinning into the camera as hundreds of people watched. "You guys think I'm finished? No, this is just a warm-up. I'll release the actual footage if Jimmy doesn't call me by tomorrow, and believe me, you're not prepared for that." His comments went crazy. According to insiders, Chrissy had a full-blown breakdown after hearing Cam's warning, crying excessively and yelling at pals, "If he drops that video, I'm finished." With whom? Was Cam bluffing or holding the nuclear bomb of receipts? Please pardon me. Her despair spilt into group conversations, and screenshots went viral on Twitter. Meanwhile, Jim was seen once more, this time going into a recording studio, and he was surrounded by paparazzi who yelled questions at him. "Are you leaving? Chrissy, did she cheat with Cam? Are you responding?" Jim said nothing, but by the end of the night, his icy gaze told fans everything they needed to know. One thing was certain: the Chrissy Cam Jim story had gotten out of control. The internet agreed that Chrissy's world would collapse if Cam actually had a video. But the DMS, emails, and audio were terrible. Just before midnight, Cam fanned the flames one last time with the mysterious tweet, "Tomorrow, 6 p.m. Pay close attention. What Jimmy refused to see is about to be revealed to us all." The following day felt like the Super Bowl of scandals because of the heartbreaking cliffhanger, which kept fans riveted to their screens, waiting to see what bomb Cameron would drop. Thousands of followers were arguing on Twitter over what Cam would reveal. And by mid-afternoon, everyone was glued to their phones, waiting for 6 p.m. sharp. The hour Cayman had promised to release the real video blog. Cam delivered when the clock struck 6, but he didn't publish the video straight to Instagram because it was too hazardous. Instead, he shared a link to a private message. Even mainstream news agencies began reporting on the drama, portraying it as hip-hop's messiest love triangle breaking down in real time. Page, with the caption, "This one's for you. Jimmy, you ought to have given a call." Before the connection fell down due to traffic, enough people had downloaded and uploaded the video, which spread like wildfire on social media. The grainy clip seemed to show in what appeared to be a dimly lit back room or lounge. Chrissy and Cam were sitting close to each other, drinking and talking quietly. At one point, Chrissy leaned over and touched Cam's leg, whispering, "I just can't do this with him anymore." "Then stop," Cam said with a sneer. "You are aware of my vocation." The chemistry, the vulnerability in Chrissy's voice, the smugness in Cam's smile, all of this created a picture that was more potent than any email or screenshot. Even if there was no kiss or overt intimacy, the internet went crazy. Hashtag Camtape, hashtag Chrissy exposed, hashtag G done. Fans watched the video repeatedly, analyzing every look and action. Memes flooded timelines, showing Chrissy speaking to Cam while wearing her proposal gown. One cruel caption read, "She wed the wrong member of the Dipet." According to friends, Chrissy yelled, "It's not what it looks like," and collapsed once more when she saw the tape going viral. She allegedly made several unsuccessful attempts to phone Jim while pacing the kitchen, However, Jim's response did not remain quiet. Hours later, he went live on Instagram, sitting in a dark car, hooded up, his voice quivering with anger, and he finally addressed the matter. "I've been faithful for years. I'm done. Some people aren't designed for true love. I won't say too much, but you all saw what you all saw. I remained loyal when it wasn't cool, when it made me look foolish, and this is what I got back." Fans and blogs alike said, "The breakup is official." The live ended quickly, but the message was clear. Jim had decided to leave for forever. Declared, "The split is official. Never one to be silent." Charleston White went live right away, laughing. "I told y'all Jimmy, been wearing the clown nose for 20 years. And Cam just snatched it off in front of the whole world. Chrissy ain't just crying now. She drowning in her own mess." The tirade soon went viral. Videos of Chrissy being clowned by Charleston went viral, spreading her humiliation. However, the consequences extended beyond memes. Chrissy and Jim were allegedly contacted by producers from Love and Hip Hop in an attempt to profit from the controversy. Insiders claim that Jim was not interested in VH1's plans to record reaction footage and potentially turn the drama into a reunion special. "He's not making an effort." Gossip Blogs was informed by a source that I was being paid to feel ashamed. Chrissy attempted damage control in the interim. "What y'all saw is not the reality. People edit, people lie, they twist things to hurt you," she wrote in a statement posted on Instagram. "I've loved one man my entire life. I would never betray him in my adult life." The comment section was harsh. Clown emojis were hurled at her by fans who accused her of "Girl, that's your voice and your hand. Stop playing with us." One comment went viral. Cameron, taking pleasure in the mayhem, stepped up, sharing another mysterious image of a glass of wine with the words, "Cheers to the truth." Cam never acknowledged or disputed the outpouring of comments from his fans pleading for more leaks, some of whom even questioned whether he had romantic receipts with Chrissy. Maintaining the tension, the cultural impact was enormous. Entire episodes of podcasts were devoted to the scandal. Memes of Jim leaving became popular GIFs, and users of TikTok performed humorous skits based on the stolen tape. Even prominent Cardi B sent a laughing emoji with no caption, while 50 Cent uploaded a meme of Jim sitting in a barber chair with the statement, "When you should have married Cam instead." Celebrities once again weighed in. According to insiders, Chrissy was in complete disarray, behind the scenes, and hadn't slept for days. "He's obsessed with destroying me," she allegedly told friends, in between sobbing bouts and angry tirades about Cam's grudge. "Until Jim permanently abandons me, he won't stop." But Jim appeared more at ease. Pictures of him in Miami with friends at a club surfaced, but he didn't show up. The most shocking turn of events, however, occurred late that week when a new leak was released. This time not from Cam, but from an anonymous hacker group. Fans speculated that he was celebrating his freedom, while others wondered if he was concealing deeper pain behind the partying. Chrissy and Cam allegedly exchanged nearly a year's worth of text messages, some of which were flirtatious and some of which were tearful. But the most damaging one said, "If Jim ever finds out, it's over. At least you can relate to me." The texts caused yet another internet catastrophe. Fans now think the video from the lounge wasn't a single instance. Rather, it was a component of Chrissy and Cam's broader relationship. It was dubbed the Harlem Triangle by blogs. Betrayal screamed from the headlines, and it was the final blow for Chrissy. She made one final attempt to tell the truth. She sobbed, lived through her tears. "Jim and I never cheated. Someone I was venting to used it to gain influence. I was wounded. I felt alone. However, I never went over that boundary." However, the harm could not be undone. Accusing her of lying, fans showered the livestream with laughing emojis. Jim did not participate in the livestream, but one comment that went viral said, "If you got to cry and explain this much, it's already over." He did not even admit it. Hours later, however, he sent out a single tweet, "Have enough self-respect to leave." The internet went crazy. That was confirmation for many. Jim's relationship with Chrissy was over. Then, as if fate had predetermined it, Cam twisted the knife one final time. He shared a vintage picture of him and Jim together from the Diapet era with the remark, "Brothers fight, but truth always wins." Fans took this to mean that Cam had done this to wake Jim up as well as to hurt Chrissy. Chrissy was in the news for all the wrong reasons at the end of the week. Her relationship was on life support, her reputation was destroyed, and her name will always be associated with one of the most messy hip-hop scandals of the decade. In a single, widely shared tweet, Cam revealed Jim abandoned her. All Chrissy could do was cry after being made fun of on the internet. Instead of a reunion, the saga ended in quiet. Jim is gently moving on. Cam was smiling from the sidelines as Chrissy went off to pick up the pieces. He was happy that he had set off the ultimate bomb. However, there was still one unanswered question. Was the last nuclear receipt still being withheld by Cam, or did he release everything? In anticipation of yet another turn in the story that had already rocked the internet, people remained riveted to the screen. There you have it, the treachery that caused Jim Jones to leave. the controversy that broke Chrissy, and the leak that only Cayman could provide. With such ruthless accuracy, but reconsider if you believe that this is the end. Because every time we believe the last nail in the coffin is dropped, the whole story is turned upside down by another leak, another screenshot, or another whisper from the shadows. I must now question you. Which side are you on? Was she caught in a poor time, or does that video show she went too far for a relationship to last? Was Cam saving his brother by revealing the truth, or was this simply a case of petty retaliation to permanently damage relationships? Not to mention, Jim, was this his long-awaited awakening, or will he revert to the pattern that supporters claim has held him down for decades? There is no doubt about this narrative.